Hashtag Truth is brought to you by Superjaw Productions. Also, Carolina Foothills Craft and Collectibles. Gifts and Talents, 136 West Main Street, Forest City. And last but not least, Sissy's Decals and Designs. They can put decals on almost anything. You can find all these sponsors and their pages on Facebook. So let's get right to it, folks. Here's the man of the hour, Jaxon Bones. Say hi,
What's going
Jaxon.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I am doing great, man. Tell everybody about yourself. Who is Jaxon Bones? When did you start wrestling? Who was your first trainer? So on and so forth. You know how the show goes, man.
Okay. Well, I started in UIW about probably about 5 years ago. Close to about 5 years ago, and my first trainer was Brian Thrill. He brought me into the business. He at first I was like, man, I just wanted to do it because I seen it done as I was a kid, just like everybody else. You didn't realize how much actual work goes in to being a wrestler. It ain't just falling to your back.
Right?
So uh, so I started. I trained with him for close to about just him for about 4 or 5 months. Then it turned to I trained with him and like Dylan Dollar, a couple of those, and a bunch of people helped me on the way. And then Rage Davison took over. He took over for I trained for another about 6 months. So I trained for about a year and a half or so. Um, at this point, I was after about a year, I was getting into the ring as a ref. I was, doing things, getting trained up on how to perform in front of an audience. Um,
Oh,
and
wow.
then not too long after that, I took the stripes off, became what people know then as Mini Panda. Um,
Mini Panda. How
it,
did
it
that
was
come about?
yeah, it was supposed to be a gimmick for a group called what were we? It was kind of formed off the oddities. You remember them
Okay.
when ICP used to
Okay.
come out with the oddities?
Right?
And it was me, Squeaks the Clown, and Mabel Rose. We was all,
Okay.
I was, yeah, he was a clown. We was like the kind of like a comedy group, pretty much. And we
Okay.
started
You
out our first
you
match.
mentioned Mabel Rose. I'm gonna have her on the show next week. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and her's got a long history. Uh, we started out actually, to be honest. Whenever I got in my first match, I was surprised myself. We won our first match. Me and Squeaks. He picked me up for a reverse choke slam, and I did a big splash. Me being almost 300 pounds, landing on somebody that'll lay you down.
ouch.
So
Look at there. Mabel
so
Rose said the odd squad.
yeah, there it is, the Odd Squad. Just exactly, man. It was something else. I ain't gonna lie. At first, uh, I was kind of pushy away from it because it's not who most people look at. But at the same time, you got to be diverse in this business. You can't just be
All
one
right. I'm gonna
person.
go through a bunch of these real quick. Frank Roof, who loves me to death, said, well, 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 here we go again. Scott Larson, you're a sissy. I love you too, Frank. The commissioner of APW. Look at this. Jaxon Bones is a punk. Uh-oh. He said you're still a punk and a chump. Uh-oh. you and Commissioner Brew must have something going on there, man. Frank Roof
I
said
got a strong
Commissioner.
hand too, buddy.
There you go. He's Frank Roof said Commissioner Brew. He's only been in the business 5 years.
Yeah,
Uh, Jaxon Bones is a pretty cool dude. I like to give him hell. There you go. So Commissioner was
yeah.
just pulling your leg.
I know, brother. Love you too.
Oh, Frank said you still got a yellow stripe down your backbone. So they're
Yeah,
they're
I hear
playing off
you.
of that. Now I looked on your YouTube page and I loved the intro you have on your YouTube page where it says, describe yourself. You say
Yeah,
something to the effect of, come as a victim or or something like that to the Boneyard? How did that come
Yeah.
about?
Um, to be honest, that's kind of the the shoot personality. That's the kind of person I truly am, and I'm one of them people that I don't do a lot of, even in the ring. Like, I don't do a lot of that talking. There's a lot of people, that I can do promos and stuff like that. That's not the thing, but a lot of people like to
You'll
talk
be
before
asked
they
before the
wrestle.
end of this video to do one. Trust me, it
Oh,
always
no problem.
happens.
I'll do it. But I ain't new to it. But it was just one of those things where they saw that, even whenever I was Meanie Panda, like, they saw that I could achieve, what I needed
Oh,
to achieve as a face, and get the crowd behind me and stuff like that. But I really just wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was it. I just wanted to throw hands with whoever it was in the ring.
right.
And they kind of said that, the game is a joke one day, break a bone. And I was like, I like that. You know
There
what
you
I'm
go,
saying?
man.
So,
And Jaxon Bones was born, right?
yeah, yeah.
There you go. I apologize, Commissioner Brew. You are the commissioner of ACCW. I so
Yes, yes.
apologize. Jaxon Bones should have corrected me, but it's
I
all
should have.
good.
I should have.
It's all good. He called you a fat boy for that then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Frank Roof said that's the hashtag truth.
Mm.
Urban
Come on.
Legend said, "Who's this guy?" You must
You
know Urban
look at the
Legend.
name right there. Just look me up.
Oh, there
You,
you go.
he's got to look me up. You'll see
Uh-oh, this is a
all
call
the
out,
great
brother.
things.
Urban Legend said he could beat you in 5 minutes.
Oh, hey man, hey, you might want to, like, pinch yourself or set the alarm clock or something, because it's time to wake up, son.
Frank Roof, yeah, you got one over on me, Frank. I made a mistake. I did say APW. I was wrong. It was ACCW. Yes, I'm a goof. I made a mistake. You got one. One for Frank, none for me. All right, if you want to go that way. He said you got a bubble gum gimmick. What do you say to that, man? I mean, I know he's trying to
Bubble
jest you
gum
into a
gimmick.
fight, but
Hold
what
on, who said that? A
Frank
bubble gum
Roof,
gimmick? Urban Legend? Oh,
Frank
Frank
Roof.
reckon?
Yeah,
Frank's.
Frank.
Oh, you mean the guy who was talking about slapping both of us earlier?
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
them baby
yeah.
soft hands. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one. The one that's got to get out of his wheelchair, get the nurse to let up off the button, so he'll quit repeating everything 90 times underneath the.
Right. Grow some calluses on them hands before you talk about
Yeah,
slapping
man.
somebody.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
who did you? At what point in your life did you go to wrestling or look on TV and watch wrestling and go, man, that's what I want to do?
Um. Honestly, like a lot of people, I saw it back in the Attitude Era, back whenever, it wasn't just like hashtag truth. It wasn't really censored too much. Like,
Right.
they would do stuff that was off script on a regular basis, and it was times where, like, my mama and they would walk in the room and their jaw would drop. What are you watching? Oh my, all that shit. And it was like, I think Stone Cold was the first one that got me into, like, okay, now I want to do this. I want to be able to go down the ramp in a beer truck.
When
You
when
know?
when WCW challenged them and Vince went back there, and this ain't exactly how it went. So all you goons out there who know I'm not being particular, but he basically went back there and said, okay, if you guys want to be yourselves, go out there and be yourselves, be the best characters you can be. Man, look at what happened when The Rock came out. Look at what
Right.
happened when Stone Cold came out. I mean, the first time Stone Cold said, Austin 316, I'm going to kick your ass. Oh, my God. The crowd went
Yeah.
nuts, dude.
Went
I
from
mean, they had
Stunning
never seen
Steve to
anything.
Stone Cold. Like that.
Right?
The Stunning Steve wasn't nothing. He was okay, but as soon as he came out and you heard that glass break, shit went crazy.
Right?
Like,
that was like the very first time we ever saw, a person, go out there and kick their boss's butt on national television. And it was like totally awesome.
You want me
the
to
first
kiss
time,
your ass? Okay.
yeah,
I'll kick it for you.
yeah, man. When he Stone Cold stunnered Vince, boy, I'm telling you, the place
Oh,
went
yeah.
crazy. Nobody will ever forget that.
As much as I love that, though, there's still only one person on the planet that I think that took the stunner the best, And Shane McMahon probably has one of the best epic clips of all time. He would drink the beer with him, and he'd stun his ass, and beer would go everywhere out of his mouth. And it was that's who I think that he. Of course, he had the biggest brawl with Vince, but
Right,
I
right,
think the one that took it the best was Shane.
right. No doubt, and he's still taking it today. Believe it or not, man. Shane,
Right?
Shane is
Yeah.
Shane is still good to go. Frank's still on
Yeah.
us. He says, "Careful what you say, son." Yeah, we're not gonna be careful, Frank. You just keep it coming. Urban Legend said, "I'll run circles around you and steal your zinger cakes." There must be a story there.
I hear you. You'll get blown up before you take the first step. Quit lying.
Frank said, "I've been in the business longer than you've been alive." And you can, are you okay? Do you have your glasses on? Can you see the screen? Are you okay, man? Have them put the screen a lot closer so you can see who you're talking about. All right. All right.
She
Here's
ain't
your
done it
first
since I've been
question,
alive.
man. Here's your first
All right.
question, man, by Marie Adams. Where do you see yourself in the future?
What, like, how far do you want to go? Like, what kind of future? You know, is that like 5, 10 years, or is it like,
Where do you see your wrestling going? Where do you want to go in the future?
okay?
How high is Jackson Bones going to go in the future, man?
Well, to be honest, this answer would have been a lot different a couple months ago because WWE was still on that trash course. You know, they was doing garbage stuff. Now they're I'm hearing rumors they're taking the PG-13 crap off of it, and you're starting to be able to do what you want to do. And I mean, if that's the case, I would love to go places like PWX and NXT. Now, granted, I mean, of course, every person that's in the industry, they have to get more training to go into that situation. But I would love to make it somewhere as high as NXT and WWE, AEW. Would.
Now you do realize that they're knocking the PG-13 thing because they're preparing for a war with AEW. They're not claiming it.
Mm,
They're all AEW's nothing else, but they're preparing to get down and dirty with AEW. We're gonna see another war on
yeah.
TV, and it's gonna be
Well, they don't have a
awesome.
choice.
It's coming.
They don't
Yeah,
have a
they don't
choice
have a choice.
because
The
AEW
money,
is
the
gonna do what
money
they're
is
gonna
there,
do.
so they're not gonna
Yeah,
have a choice.
yeah.
Frank Roof said, "Running a Krispy Kreme, man. This is either jokes about your weight or there's something about Krispy Kremes you're not telling me, brother, because everybody keeps saying they're going to steal your Zinger cakes, your Krispy Kremes."
It might be a tax against my weight, but most of the people that are saying it are also fat too. He's fat and old, so I mean he's got to be able to see his powder donut before he can grab
Oh,
it.
Lord have mercy. I love it. Brandon Ledford, Scott is supposed to be Jackson Bones, not Jason. Yeah, you did put Jason up there, brother. Is that your
Did
real
I?
name?
No, S and X is right beside each other. Sorry,
Uh, I
it
got fat
happens.
fingers too, brother. I do that all the time. Don't worry. Don't worry. I can't. I hate cell phones, brother. That's why I went from cell phones to doing my podcast like this. Because, man, when I was
Yeah,
on that cell phone trying to work it, I got these fat thumbs and everything just went haywire, brother. Don't feel bad at all. But I know who
yeah, it
I'm
happens.
talking to, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I
Oh
believe you
yeah.
went over this, but Marie probably came in late. Where did you get your name Jackson Bones from? Tell her one more time. Get the quick story.
Okay. Well, Jackson Bones came from. They saw how I was in the ring, even though I was supposed to be a face. All I wanted to do was fight, and they said break a bone one day, and I said I like it. So lo and behold, there comes Jackson Bones.
Jackson Bones. Come play in the boneyard. That's what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about. Frank Roof said, no interview skills, period. Well, Frank, when you come on, you can tell us all about your interview skills. And I will have Frank one day on #truth.
I'll be there.
So it will
I
be
will be
TV
there.
14 or TVMA. Brandon, I'm not sure what they're gonna label it, but what
It'll
they're
be TV Old Man is what it'll be.
yeah,
It'll be
it's
the Lifetime channel.
well, I think he's talking about when WWE changes from TV
Just giving him
14 or
shit.
whatever. Yeah, I know, but
Oh,
Brandon, I think what they're gonna do is I think it's gonna probably go to TVR or something like that, TV rated R or something like that, Because what they're going to do is they're going to bring back cussing. They're not going to bring back as much. They've already had interviews about this. They're not going to bring back as much of the sex as they had back in the Attitude Era. Because I mean, basically, for all those people who remember, the Rated R
Edge and
superstar and
Lita.
his girlfriend
Oof.
basically having sex in the ring, they're not going to go that far. But they're getting ready to go to war with AEW because AEW is going to pull it all out, brother. They're some people like what AEW is doing, some people don't, but all in all, it's taking eyes off the WWE to AEW, and in doing that, it's taking money out of Vince's pocket, and everybody knows how Vince feels about taking money out of his pocket. He's going to take that very seriously.
He might not have a choice. Cody then said, "I'm gonna take it, and ain't nothing you can do."
Brandon said, "By the way, Jaxon is another one I remember from UIW. Now, you wrestled at UIW?"
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was one of my. That's actually where you saw me wrestle. A pretty good amount on my YouTube page. There was
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was telling him before we came on the air, I watched him wrestle STD. We're going to get into that in a little while, so don't everybody get into tither right now. And then I saw you wrestle the Bassmaster on there, and that was a good match. And I didn't have time to watch any others. I think those were the only two I really got to watch. But, man, you carry yourself well in the ring for a big man. You get it done.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I call it like I see it, brother. It's called #truth.
Cardio is a big thing during training, and even as a big man, I know you had Country on here a little while. Is yesterday?
A couple days ago, yeah, a couple days ago I had him,
and I've had the pleasure to talk to that man a lot. And as a big man, like he gave me a lot of pointers, and to have Cardio in that ring as a big man, that's a number one thing.
He's all of Hulk Hogan right now. Go to the gym and eat your vitamins. Rawr. I love Big Country, brother. He is one man. If he talks, you better listen. He's been in the game for 14 years, man. He knows how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Dream match anywhere with any worker.
Any worker. I'm gonna pull the page out of Brandon's book. I want my trainer versus trainee match versus Brian Thrill. If he'll ever come out of old man, that's kind of.
I love that. Teacher versus student. Always one of the best wrestling matches you could ever have. Teacher versus student. That's what I'm talking about. Speaking of Brandon, what's been the most difficult obstacle in your career that you have had to overcome? That's a good question.
My biggest obstacle, I think the first time that I walked into a locker room that I didn't really know anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Most workers have that when they first start, they'll go into a locker room, and if they don't go into a different locker room, if they only go to one place or something like that, like they're used to that locker room. But once you spread yourself out and go to a different locker room where you don't really know anybody, it kind of makes you anxious because you was in your zone, and now you're not even in your zone at all. I think that was one of the first things that I had a problem with is, and I didn't really have a problem because it's technically a brotherhood, but it takes you out of your element to be away from home, I guess you would say.
Right. But man, I have a feeling you're kind of like me though, because you're kind of open and honest and things like that from talking to you. And man, I tell you, if I walk into a room with a bunch of strangers, first thing I do is act stupid. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. I just walk up and start being me. Hey, how you doing? I'm Scott. Blah blah blah. Just just run their ear off. My dad always told everybody I could make the mules off of brass. I could make the ears off of fall off a brass mule. That's what he'd tell people. Because I could talk you to death, man. That's why I've got a talk show.
Hey, that's all right. Some people can do it.
Neil Lee, who I'm going to have on #truth pretty soon, said, where and when can people come see you wrestle? I'll answer the second one really quick. Any matches on YouTube? Yes, look him up. Jaxon Bones on YouTube. He's got about 10 or 12 matches on there?
Oh, at least, yeah. Oh yeah, at least.
Yeah, somewhere in that.
On my page.
Oh, well, maybe you could tell them of others, but where can people come see you wrestle, and where are your matches on YouTube?
Like I said, my match, most of my matches on YouTube. You can type in Jaxon Bones or UIW. There's a lot of those. There's a Kid Holiday might have some of his um, on his page if y'all want to go hit him up.
Wow,
Uh,
that's a name to be throwing out there. You and Kid Holiday hooked up a few times?
oh yeah, no, several times. He was actually one of my last ones. I battled with him for his TCW Junior Heavyweight. He hit me and my boss,
Oh,
and so
ow.
that didn't change. That did change the relationship a little bit, but yeah, you can still catch some of that some of my stuff on his page. And I'm honestly I'm trying to get on the EWF because it's real close to me. I know a good amount of people there. Like I said, I know Joey Godfrey. He's a good dude. Um, so you know, he actually seen me wrestle way back. You know,
Right,
way back.
right.
You know, so
Well,
yeah,
I talk to Joey almost every other day, so I'll put in a good word for you, brother, and I'll tell him you're looking for him, and maybe I can
I
get you
appreciate
hooked up with that because I love to see everybody come through EWF because I don't miss a show at EWF. Now I will go to other shows, but
Oh yeah,
EWF is my family, and I have no quorum saying that, and I'll
yeah,
say it to my dying day.
that's good.
Alex said, "Why did you drop the panda gimmick?"
Um, Well, like I said earlier, it's one of those things where the panda gimmick was it was all fun and games. You know, it was playtime. It was I interacted in a different way with the crowd. I wasn't. It wasn't that I wasn't me, but I was a different part of me. And
It
honestly, it
was
was
it
that
was
part.
it was more fun in games than what you really wanted to act
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
the ring, right? That's
yeah.
pretty much
It
how it
was
goes. I mean, it's hard to
kind
be all tattooed up and then act like a nice little panda. I mean, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? It just don't
yeah.
match unless you were covered, unless you had them all covered or whatever.
Uh, uh, well, actually, a
I
lot
mean, when I
less
think of panda, I think of
was covered.
a sweet little bear that people want to, give bamboo to, and
Yeah.
unless you call yourself Kung Fu Panda, and then that's really another story.
Well, do you know who Blue Meanie is?
Yes, I do. Are you kidding me? I'm an EC Dub man. Man,
Okay.
Blue Meanie, come on.
Well, I'm just making sure you know. So that's
Stevie
kind of
Richards' best friend, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. That's kind of who my mini panda gimmick was modeled after.
Okay, I got you.
With tweaks and twerks and all that kind of stuff. But I that's who it was modeled after. And like I said, I just wanted to get more serious, man. I want to dive deeper into the career.
That's basically what Brandon Owens said. It was a Blue Meanie gimmick. That's it. Arthur said he just jumped in. What did he miss? We have been talking for the last 25 minutes with Jaxon Bones, Arthur. He's been
Yes,
telling us
sir.
how he came up with Jaxon Bones, when he was the Panda and why he is no longer the Panda. We've been talking about some of the matches he's been in, some of the places he's been, his favorite wrestler. You've missed a lot. So
Oh yeah.
Jack Morgan said, "Hey, Scott. Hey, Hog, brother." So,
What's what's
Jack, I
up,
was
buddy?
just telling him I saw you two in a match on YouTube, man. You two was getting it done, man. I like that match. I think I'm
Oh
going to
yeah.
go back and watch it again later on tonight. It was a pretty good match, man.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was. I didn't have to do what I did to him, but
Yeah, you're glad you won, man. Come on. There's no wrestler alive that goes, "Man, I can't wait till I lose." Come on, man.
well, like he said on his post, he's a hog brother. You know,
There you
during the
go.
time where we was the war hogs, I had to break us apart and separate us because well, to be honest, I wanted to do my thing. You know, and I was tired of doing it together. You know.
Hey Joshua, how you doing, man? How's your back doing? I hope you're doing better. Let me know. Send me a message, man. Let me know how your back's going. Brandon Owens, out of what match in your career has pushed you to your limits so far?
Push me to my limits.
What
Honestly,
match?
I think
Let me word that another way. What match took you to where when you woke up the next morning, you felt like you the first question you asked was, "What was the number of that bus that just ran me over?"
um, honestly, I think it was a match for the Reaper's title. Um, that was Rage was holding it at that point in time, and he was the current monster.
Right.
And I felt like I wanted to be the current monster. Now, granted, he did get the 1, 2, 3, but I know for a fact both of us woke up the next day and we was trying to find that number. Because everything that we can get a hold of, we was hitting each other with it.
Jack Morgan said putting Chase Evans over, and he's laughing about it.
Chase, yeah. Who's that?
Uh-oh. My computer just went like crazy. Alan Price wants to know. Right? Alan Price wants to know, who do you have the best? Okay. That was a weird echo.
What happened?
I just got a weird echo through my mic. Who do you have the most chemistry with in the ring, and who can you get in the ring and just flow with?
There's a couple people. He's probably one of the number ones because in my UIW career, me and him has seen each other probably more than any other person in that locker room at UIW. We've been friends, we've been frenemies, we've been enemies. We've done everything. So him, honestly, I could do it with STD. I could do it with Brandon Owens. Brandon Owens, he knows me and him don't even got to say nothing. Like just like with Alan Price and STD, we ain't even got to say nothing. They know exactly what we're gonna do next.
Zach Zulo. I keep wanting to say Zulu for some reason. Zach Zulo. When will Jaxon Bones be wrestling again, and where?
Right now, I'm looking. It's not. Like I said, I'm going to EWF. UIW's been on a hiatus, or what is the word of it? A hiatus.
A hiatus. There you go. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the big word for the day. Hiatus. They'll be back soon.
I mean, I'm open for pretty much any place. I got a lot going on in life too, but I'm also I'm open for booking.
Zach said, please. Somebody gives Frank Roof a live hashtag truth, and let's listen to all his wonderful knowledge he has to drop on us. Zach, I love Zach to death, man. Fat Man Rants, he said he's done with it. I cried that night. I'm not going to lie to you. And the thing that really made me cry was I had something going on in the family that night, and I couldn't see his last video live, and I really wanted to see it live. So I had to watch it the next day, and I had all kinds of questions. I had all kinds of things I was going to say, man, and it's just sad. But I like what Zach's doing up there with his wrestling organization, and you guys ever want to go wrestle for a good organization, man, hit Zach up. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to build AWC up to be something very special, man. He's working hard. All right, guys, let's give us some questions for Jaxon Bones. If you can't, I've got one I'm going to give them, and we're going to get down and dirty on hashtag truth here in a minute. So do you ever want the Hogs back together? Who are the Hogs, man? Tell us about these Hogs.
The Hogs is me and Jack Morgan. Like he said, we ran through pretty much the UIW locker room as far as tag team goes, and that was any tag team, all tag teams. You didn't even have to be a tag team. You can just be two people that wanted to try to get at the tag team belt. And
come on, you're gonna get a trash can to the head, right?
Yeah. And me and him we flow pretty good together as far as the tag team goes, because we worked so hard on the things that we knew. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that I knew individually, the stuff he knew individually, and we put them together. And not a lot of tag teams. I mean, there's a certain amount of tag teams now, but back then there wasn't a lot of tag teams who done stuff like that.
Well, you said something that a lot of people don't get. And you get two people together that are young in the business, that and I say the word young loosely, that are young in the business, that, form a tag team. And you just said it. I think you said it really well. I did what I knew to do. He knew what he knew to do. But when we were together, it came off as magic. And,
Oh yeah.
that's the way you grow in the business, man. If you want to be a tag team, I mean, the Rock and Roll Express, how do you think they got
Oh
good?
yeah.
They came together. They hardly knew each other. They worked together for years
Oh
and
yeah. I learned a
years.
lot from Parker.
Everything they knew individually eventually dwelled together. Now, they've worked so long that, one of them could close their eyes and 5 minutes later he can tell you where the other one's at. I mean, I'm
Oh
serious.
yeah.
That's
Oh
when
yeah.
you've been in business long time.
Oh yeah.
Mark Dan, well, I think I know the answer to this one. Do you like doing hardcore matches?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that I like all hardcore matches.
Do
Don't
you
get that.
like pain, brother? That's basically what they're asking you. Do you like pain?
If the person across the ring wants to give it and receive it, I don't want to. I know it's hashtag truth, but I don't want to work a pussy. If you're gonna give it, make sure you can receive it.
Well, there
You
you
know.
go, man. That's about as blunt as you could be right there.
Yep.
Hey, watch it. The price of trash is here.
Price of trash.
I'm
Who's that?
hoping that's the Prince of
That Tuck.
Trash and not the
That's
price
Tucker.
of
It's the
trash. But
Prince.
it
It's the
does
Prince.
say the
Yeah,
price
that's
of
Tuck.
trash.
Yep.
Tucker,
Tucker
you
White.
got to
What's
be
up, Tuck?
careful, man. One little key on the keyboard, man, will screw you up. But I'm glad to see you here on hashtag truth, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neil Lee wants to know, why should promotions book you? What would you bring to a show that would make fans pay to see you? There you go, man. That's a tough question.
What? No, it's not tough. I can. It's a pretty good answer. Honestly, I'm not a vet. I'm not. No, nowhere close. But I have something that not a lot of people look at, and it's the fact that whoever is across the ring from me, I'm gonna make them look just as good as hopefully they're gonna make me. And it don't matter if there's 5 people in the ring. There's only 4 people that I'm trying to make look good, and hopefully it's the same in their eyes. A lot of people in this business are only out for them. I'm only out for my ego and the way I feel about it, what makes me boost up. I
No,
want to
now
make
wait a minute. Whoa, we're on hashtag truth. You can't tell truths like that, man. I mean, egos in wrestling,
that's real shit.
never.
No,
There's not
that's
egos
real
in
shit.
wrestling. Come on, man.
That's real
Come on.
shit.
I've
But
never seen a bad ego in wrestling. No, I'm just kidding, dude. We know they're out there, brother.
well,
But
on a serious note, though, I toss my ego to the side before I go out that curtain. Now I might
right,
talk trash in the back, talk a whole bunch of trash, whatever, because that's what we do. But
right.
whenever I go up to that curtain, uh, my ego goes to the side, and now we're going out here to put on a show. I'm not going out here to,
Now, see,
you know.
I love to hear that in a young performer, man. Number one, the first thing you talked about, one of the first things you talked about is you train.
Oh yeah.
Second thing you talked about is you're out there to make someone else look better.
Oh yeah.
Well, wait a minute. The second thing you said was I go out there with just what I know, and I use what I know to get me and the other person over. And
Oh
then
yeah.
the third thing you said was I'm out to make the other person look good, and I hope he does the same for me. That's the way you start. If you start off with that kind of mentality, man, sky's the limit, brother. I'm going to tell you, as a fan, that's what I want to hear,
Yeah.
because that makes me want to come and see Jaxon Bones, because I know I'm not going to see a one-sided match.
Oh
I'm
no.
going to see a true story in the ring, man, and that's great to hear, man. I really appreciate you being that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he meant Prince of Trash. We we got a good laugh, Tucker, but man, all right. Jack Morgan said, I'm green in the business still. We're all green, man. I'm green. We're all coming up together. That's what hashtag truth is all about, man. Woo, she's got some good questions. What's your finisher, and what was your finisher when you were part of the Warhogs? That was good.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the Warhawks. It was a combined finisher. I would hook whoever they were for the suplex. I would throw them on top of Jack Morgan's shoulders. He would throw them for a running power slam. I would hit the suplex at the same time, at the exact same time. Or
Oh,
we could do,
nice.
or it was
Did you have a
double.
name for it?
Uh, that was a while back.
You guys were the
I
Hogs,
think it was
so
I
it would
think it
have
was
been.
the hog pin. I
The
think it was like
hog
the
pin,
hog
the
pin or something
slop
like that.
drop, man, the slop
Yeah,
drop.
yeah. And yeah. See, you should have been
Yeah,
there.
I could have
And
been your manager, man.
right, right. My finisher now, it's a combination. The signature is a version of the WMD. It's
Okay.
and it basically it spins most of the time when you get punched. You pretty much spin around. Well, I'll spin you around because you pretty much sleep where you're standing. And I'll do what they call a deep dish. It's a version of the deep six.
Okay.
Uh, except for most of the time, I pretty much just throw you down. I ain't dropping with you. I'm just gonna
Oh,
throw
okay.
you
You
on the
just kind
ground.
of swing him, and then boom, he's done.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait, man. That's awesome. Kimberly Lovins wants to know, what is your favorite all-time match? Let's go WWE time with that, and then we'll go back to the Indies. What's your favorite all-time match for
Okay.
WWE? It could be anytime.
Okay. I I'm probably gonna have to take a page out of your book too. Mankind versus Taker when he threw him
Oh,
off that cage. Uh,
I got the
there's
DVD
no
right over
words.
there on my dresser, right beside me on my dresser, man. It stays
Yeah.
there. When I get
There's,
down and out and I'm like, man, not wrestling today, all I got to do is put that disc in and watch. And I'm like, yeah, wrestling today.
oh yeah. And I can also say this too. Back whenever the Outsiders were facing off against the best WCW had, and all
Oh,
of a
man.
sudden here comes Hulk Hogan. You know, when they
Yeah.
created NWO, like that was also
The Bash at the Beach, brother. I watch
yeah.
that every once
Oh
in a
yeah.
while too, man. When he come out and he turned and he was the third man and they were
Right,
throwing
right.
trash in the ring. Woo,
Uh-huh.
the
That's how
heat
you
he
get true
got.
heat right there.
Right? Well, I mean, it only took him what? Almost 30 years before he turned heel. So that was
Yeah,
30
yeah.
years of pent up, wow. You got a fan in Mark Jackson?
That's my buddy.
Brandon Owens versus Jackson Bones. I think you said you've had some matches with him.
Oh yeah, I have. Well, the thing is, me and him hadn't had a chance to work singles. We've always been in such things as like triple threats. I've been in a tag team match. It was the Hogs versus him and Tyler Foshi. Um,
We're
but
gonna have to get you into
I
EWF, brother, and have a you versus Brandon Owens match then, 1-on-1.
I would I would love to throw Brandon around a little bit.
Oh, I'd love to hear that, man. Jack Morgan said Mabel Rose knows what it feels like. Yep, hog pin.
Yeah, she does. She actually she was in a match. Her and Alan Price versus me and Jack Morgan, and she let's just say that she's a little one. She's smaller, and I did the old school
I heard she
cartoon.
was kind of short. When I put up that I was
Yeah.
going to have her on hashtag truth in the future, somebody had put a joke up there about, she's going to have to sit up on a high seat to talk to me. So,
Oh yeah. I did the old school cartoon, and I put my hand on her forehead, and I let her swing. And
Mark Jackson says, we need to meet in the ring again. I don't feel like we had a proper match. So apparently you had a match with Mark Jackson and it didn't go all the
oh
way
yeah,
through or something.
yeah. Me and him's like two bulls in the ring. We're two big boys. You know what I'm saying? And
Hey, there's
I
nothing wrong with that. I love watching a good knockdown, drag out brawl, man. If
right.
you could tell a good story doing that, I love watching stuff like that.
It turns into
I
basically it
mean, look
turns
what
into it
happened
got
just a
interrupted.
couple weeks ago with Braun Strowman and the other big boy, man. They went through the Teletron or whatever and made him cuss on live TV for the first
Yeah,
time in forever.
yeah,
So I love it when two big boys get the brawling, man. That made me excited right there.
yeah. I'd love to work Mark again. He's probably a good. eh, I don't know when I could possibly do it, man. But whenever we can strap our boots up together, I'm on it.
She said, Mark Jackson had the time of his life and he owes it all to you. And then she spelled Jackson.
He don't know. He don't know it to me. He owes it to a buddy of mine called his name's Brandon Owens. I don't
Okay.
y'all might the time of your life. I'm gonna put him out there. I don't care, Brandon. Love you, brother. But they pulled a spot off where Mark Jackson's a big dude. Brandon's not so big. You know you seen Dirty Dancing? He
My wife,
lifted
that's
his
one of my
ass up.
wife's favorite movies, brother. I bet I've watched it 30 times.
Well, he lifted him up in the air and dropped him on his back. But
He
while he
did
was up in the air,
the swan
yeah,
thing.
yeah, it happened.
And it never gets old to see a big old wrestler going through
Yep,
the
I'm
air,
gonna
right?
put you up there. Oh yeah, yeah. The fall down. See, Brandon Owens made a mistake and said, "Put me down." When he said, "Put me down," I guess Mark was just like, "Okay."
Oh, okay. It's not the fall that hurts. It's the
Yeah,
sudden stop at the end.
yeah, that stop. It'll get you every time.
Dominic Wolf versus Jaxon Bones is a fight. That's the only way to put it. We brawl. So that's what I said,
Yes, we
man. You
do.
get two big
Oh
men
yeah.
in there, get into a big brawl. Those are the kind of matches that I love to see where, you put a stipulation on it, like a first blood or last man standing, or
That's
you
that's
get
that's
two big
probably what you
boys.
would have to do between me and him is last man
Yeah.
standing because
Yeah, that's what
he's
I'm
gonna
saying.
get up and I'm gonna get up. Like if we can't,
Right?
then you got me.
That's what I'm talking about. Brandon almost took flight in that match.
Yeah, yeah.
I can almost picture it in my mind, and it's not pretty.
He did about throw him to the ceiling. He's like, oh, I gotta throw you back down to the floor. Hold
on. The music was the best part. Now, are you talking intros or what? I don't
No. I
understand.
think she's talking about as soon as they did it. There was a person in the back who had it queued up for some reason, and it played. That's it.
Okay, now I get it. Now I get the whole joke why she started off with that line. You had the time of your life. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes total sense. All right, cool, man. That's funny.
Yeah,
I'll tell you the funniest thing I ever saw going to EWF, and I'll never forget this. The sound guy, if you don't get your entrance music to the sound guy, like the day before or whatever, and you have to do it last minute, things like this happen. We was at EWF and somebody forgot to give the sound guy his music or for him to look it up. So this certain guy, he had to hook up his cell phone to the keyboard and look up his music on YouTube and play it. Well, everybody knows YouTube, and if it's a really popular song, there's commercials all the way through the song, right? So he's playing the song, and I guess he forgot to turn off the sound after the song went off because it was like a 30-second intro or whatever for the song. I think he forgot to turn off the sound on his cell phone or whatever. Right in the middle of the match was a huge, like a hemorrhoid commercial for like 30 seconds, dude, during the match. And we're cracking up, dude. I mean, it's just, they're in there just trying their hardest to make it look good. And this guy's, coming through the PA loud as can be. If you've got hemorrhoids, do this or do that. I'm like, oh my God. Dude.
Well, I'm definitely not picking you up now.
Right?
Yeah.
Joshua says, don't think Bones could do that to Country. I'd like to see it attempted, though. Ooh, yeah, Big Country's a big boy.
Let me go.
Not many people are going to be lifting up Big Country.
Let me just say this, and I'll just put this out there. I love Big Country, but I also deep six Big Aaron McClure. So I don't know. I haven't tried it. Haven't been in the ring with Country like that.
I would love to see anybody, including you, brother. Take my money, please, if you could deep six Big Country, man. If he'd allow you to do it and you get it done, oh my goodness, the pop that would be in that building. It would be for real, man. I've seen Big Country throw some big guys around. I've seen him do his, Big Country bomb, which is the sit-down power bomb on him. And, just explode the place with, moves like that. But if somebody could do it on him, yes, take my money, please.
If you want to see it kind of close, like I said, it's on YouTube. Me versus Aaron McClure. Look it up.
I will definitely look it up. I will definitely look that up. Mark Jackson said, last man standing. Let's make it happen, brother. If there are anybody in the wrestling business, promoters or owners, You got you a match signed right here on #Truth.
Oh
Ready
yeah,
to go.
we can do it.
If you could work an old school wrestler, who would it be? Either indies or I'll add to your question, Arthur. Either indies or the big time. It's all professional, but the big time, who would it be?
Okay. So as far as like old school,
Old school.
I think I'd have to work Anvil. I think if he was still if he could be alive, he
Wow.
worked yeah. I would like to work Anvil because he's a worker. That's he's a beast, and you can see some of his technical stuff in the ring and some of the things that he would do. I think I think me and him would make a pretty good. I'd also like to work somebody like Kevin Nash because he's a big dude, likes to throw himself around a little bit.
Kevin
And
Nash is beast. Now the Anvil, he was the partner to one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I named my son after Bret the Hitman Hart. So
Brett, yeah, oh yeah, and that honestly, because like I said Kevin Nash he's always usually been the big man in the ring. I'd like to see he's taller, he ain't bigger, so you know, I'd like to see that happen one day.
that would be really cool.
He's an old man now though.
What was your inspiration for getting into the business? I think I asked you this, but go ahead and some people came in late.
My first initial inspiration was I seen fights, real what seemed to me, especially back then, real fights back when I watched it on TV as I was like
The
9,
Attitude
10
Era.
years old. Yeah, during the Attitude Era, and I thought that was like, you mean they get to do that and get paid to do that shit?
You
Like,
mean they get paid to throw their opponent through a table off a
yeah,
steel cage?
yeah.
Wow, through a steel cage?
Yeah, and see, I know it's a little messed up. It might be a little messed up in the head, but I saw like you telling me that Taker gets paid to bury people alive. That's what you're saying to me. Stuff like that. Like it just so that kind of turned into I just really wanted to do it, and one day, man, I found out that like I said, Brian Thrill was going to wrestle, and I'd known him for a little while, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I kind of want to start training, and Alan was there, and they kind of took me under their wing and trained up. It got me to the point to where I'm really not scared to do too much in the ring. As far as that goes, I'm a big guy, so
Have
if
you
you get
have
me
you
on that
ever
top
said
rope,
no? Have you ever said no to another wrestler? Like a wrestler come up to you and go, "I want to do this spot." Have you ever said, "Man, no, I don't think so. I don't think you can pull it off," or "I don't want to get hurt," or I don't want to put your life in my hands like that." Have you ever said no to a wrestler when they were talking to you about doing a spot in the ring?
no, usually my thing is I ask them first. If because most of the time if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, I want to do this spot," it's mostly them doing most of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, I always ask them. I said, "Okay, if you want to do that, I'm fine with doing it. Do you think you can pull it off? If you think you can do it and not get hurt, I'm down. If
Right,
not, I don't want to see you. I don't want to be the one, that puts you in your retirement or some stuff like that because you slipped up on, grabbing the neck the right way or something
right.
like that.
She said, Mabel said you're only scared of one thing. What is that one thing?
Scared of one thing.
That's what she said right here in black and white. He is only scared of one thing. He said no to Brandon Owens.
What's she talking about?
I don't know. You tell me.
I have no clue. She's gonna have to
Maybe she
specify.
needs to. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to clear up his memory there. He's been dropped on his head a few times. Mabel, you're gonna have to. You're gonna
That's
have to
true.
clear up the memory a little bit.
Yeah, she gonna have to tell me.
If I would start up a show, I would book you and Big Country in a last man standing. There you go. See, that's what we were talking about. Some kind of gimmick, last man standing, or first blood, or something like that. I love to see two big guys go at it and with a stipulation like that. Now they can go at it without a stipulation. That's fine too. But
Oh yeah.
it's even better when you have that stipulation when you have two really big Goliaths in the ring, man, because
Oh
then
yeah.
then we know we're going to be in for at least a good 10-15 minute match, and it's not just going to be a
Oh yeah.
one and done
Just
and
beating
quick
each
and
other in the head.
right. How about a hog pin match? Jack Morgan said a hog pin match. Now I don't know what a hog pin match is, but you're about to tell me, Jack, because apparently he don't know because
I can't tell you.
he's looking at me like I have no idea what you're talking about, man. Jack, tell me what a hog
Yeah,
pin
yeah,
match is. Is it something
yeah.
like
He
your
can't.
riverbank match, but with
Probably
a hog
he
pin?
comes up with some crazy matches, man.
Oh,
That
I love it.
I was the I don't know if you know this, but I was the special guest referee in that Riverbanks match that he's talking about,
Okay.
and it was mainly just because I wanted to punch Chase Evans in the face. So like I told him,
It worked out for you, right?
yeah, I told him before the match, I was like, if you hit me with anything, I'm gonna punch you in the face, and it happened. So you
Wow.
know,
All right. Well, I'm going to take the monkey off the room. He said, kind of, yes, it's a hardcore match. It's probably a
all right,
hardcore match with a bunch of weapons hanging around a slot pin. And no, there's no telling with Jack Morgan, brother. There's no telling. You might be actually wrestling in a hog pin for all I know.
that might. Well, I ain't
Dylan
wrestling over
Dollar,
in a hog
man,
pen. I
if
don't
you're
know.
coming in 51 minutes into the show, you missed almost everything, brother. Uh, Jaxon was telling us all about his characters through the years, telling us when he started in wrestling. We were talking about some of his matches. We were talking about the Hogs with Jack Morgan, tag teaming, UIW. I mean, we went through a whole slew of stuff in the last 50 minutes, brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. We went through a good bit of stuff.
Arthur said, I got a hog you can go to the ring with. I'm not going to ask. I'm not even going to ask. The man, Dylan Dollar, is in the chat. Dylan Dollar, hit me up, man. I'd love to have you on hashtag truth, brother. Jack Morgan said, slopping everything. Dylan Dollar said, I've punched him in the mouth once. Has Dylan Dollar got you in the mouth one time?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think there's too many people actually in this business that he ain't punched in the mouth.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes when you're in the wrestling business. At
Oh
least
yeah,
one time somebody's punched you in the mouth. Now,
yeah.
have you ever?
He got the unlucky. I can't say unlucky. He got the what's the word? The the one of the first matches that I was really ever in, and
Okay.
I just could
So he
honestly
got
I
you
was
when you
too
were at
green.
your greenest. Then he got
Yeah,
into
I
the
was
match when
green.
you were
Yeah,
totally green head to toe when he got you. Then
yeah. And needless to say, it was just an ass whooping. He just whooped my ass.
so
You
let me
know.
ask you, man, have you ever been in a match in your career where somebody like didn't pull a punch or did a move a little bit harder than they were supposed to, or you know what I'm saying? Didn't necessarily, make it a shoot match, but did you ever, you were supposed to turn around and do some kind of move and really get nailed by it?
Oh yeah, there's been several times where it's all about a judgment of distance and things like that. If you how bad, how hard, or whatever you get hit, and some people they just hit you hard. And I think I think one of the hardest things, and it's weird because it came from Brandon Owens. Um, he's got a forearm that'll make you go to sleep. Like, and
Nice.
if you don't believe me, there's footage on YouTube, him and a guy called Milkman.
Oh wow.
He was in the corner. He forearmed him in the corner, and Milkman went to sleep. Good
Oh
night.
wow. Mark Jackson said, "Me, I haven't been punched by Dylan." Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Price says Dylan is a stiff SOB. Dylan
Yeah,
said,
he
"Truth." Jack Morgan said, hell of a match. The Hogs and Dylan Dollar against the Hogs against Dylan Dollar and his partner."
no, it was it. Honestly, actually, it was a triple threat. It was the Hogs versus the Foundation versus honestly 5 star when they first started.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it was a good match. It was a lot of back and forth.
Alan said, "Which one? I still have my green." I don't. Okay. Well, I'm going to get into a serious topic here for a minute because it's kind of the elephant in the room, and we've been avoiding it for 55 minutes. Thank you for answering all the questions, but I'm going to get into this. There is a guy that
Okay.
you have wrestled a lot, and there was a thing put up on Facebook about a certain wrestler. His name is STD. Everybody knows him.
Yep.
Um, he's he's had his whole life basically put up on Facebook. He's got 3 convictions for sexual assault. I'm going to say sexual assault. They might be notarized
It's
differently,
indecent
but
liberties.
yeah, indecent liberties. However, it's worded.
Yeah, I
And a
got you.
lot of people don't want him in wrestling at all. And you came to this guy's defense, and a lot of people want to know, why are you defending him?
Honestly, because I don't know too many people in this business who hasn't been in a situation that could have been, if somebody else would have seen it, or something like that, it could have been taken some sort of way.
Okay.
I'm not saying he did or he didn't do whatever the hell they said he did. That's not what I'm
Okay.
saying. What I'm saying is everybody's been put in a predicament to where the only thing that kept them from getting these charges or whatever that he got was that person didn't, tell on them, or or they didn't get caught in that situation, or somebody believed their word or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it was his word versus whoever else's word that it was. It might I don't know who it was. Like I said,
Okay.
some little girl or
I'm
some
gonna
shit
say
like that.
something, and I don't want to make you angry, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I'm kind of on the side of the others right now until you convince me
I'm
otherwise.
listening.
But
Mm-hmm.
one time I could understand. One time, something might have been misconstrued. People might be willing to talk about it, but we're talking 3 times, man. I mean, how can
Well,
you, how can you, how can you back up somebody who's been through this situation 3 times?
well, if you look at the paperwork, look at the actual charges that are on there. Um, it's not 3 separate times. It's he got charged the first time. A lot of different components in those charges were pretty much circumstantial. A lot of the stuff was circumstantial. A lot of the stuff was, it was he said, she said, and that's usually how it goes with those kind of charges.
But he did
Unless
get
that
convicted all
individual,
3 times, correct?
yeah, 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 yes, yes.
So
Um,
somebody believed the girl in
well,
this
it was it
situation
was it
three
was only
times.
two. It was only twice.
Okay.
The other two charges were together at the same time.
Okay.
If you look at them, it's the same age, same
Okay.
docket, all that.
Okay.
Um, and as far as I understand, like I said, it was one of those situations to where he was he was put in a situation. Now, granted, he probably shouldn't have put himself in the situation he was probably in. You
Okay.
know, because every
I mean,
every
that's
grown
my
man.
question because I can understand. Like I said, I can understand. Because I had a situation and I read a story one time and let me tell you the story and then I'll ask the question like I did before and I'll have you answer it. This is what I read in the newspaper about 6 months ago and it really upset me on the opposite end of the spectrum. There was this
Mhm,
guy. He was at the mall. All right, this guy was like 25 years old and he was on the
mhm,
second floor of a mall and he's walking down through there and he sees this little girl who's about 5 years old. She's almost in tears. She's looking around like she can't find her parents or whatever. Okay.
mhm,
So he walks up to her being, the nice, respectable, what 500 people that passed her by should have done,
yeah.
walked up to her and said, hey, you know, what's going on, little girl? And she's like, I can't find my parents. So he looks up and he looks down, and about 50 feet away is a security guard. So he says, hey,
Mhm,
little girl, grab my hand. We'll go over here and talk to this nice little policeman, and we'll find out where your parents are. Well, as he's walking the little girl past the very next store, the parents step out and see him holding their
Yeah.
little girl's hand walking away.
Yeah.
So of course the dad gets angry, the mom gets angry, start yelling. The police officer does come over. He gets arrested for almost kidnapping the girl, and
Yeah.
they were calling sexual assault the whole 9 yards, and all this guy was doing was trying to help. Now I can understand that, and he got convicted of it. Believe it or not, a judge found him guilty of wrongly touching, and they put him in jail for that. And now he's got a sexual thing that follows him everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that was only one time, and it's never, according to the story, he's like 28, 29 now, and it's never happened again. I can understand something like that, but when you have something where the same guy has 3 charges, whether it's the same or different or two, even just 2 with the same person, you got to kind of look and go, okay, something ain't right here. You know what I'm saying? Can you at least agree with that?
Okay.
Wrong place, wrong time, 2 times in a row.
I get what you're saying. I do. I understand. I understand how it looks, because whenever I talked to him after I read everything, I told him, I was like, bro, this shit, it looks doubtful on you. I was like, I got a daughter and shit. I need you to talk to me. As a man, me and you need to have a conversation. And me and him talked for a little while. And one of the biggest things that kept saying, he kept, basically showing me is, in my mind, I was like, if somebody don't say, that same man you're talking about right now, that same man that got the charges on that little girl, somebody found out about that. A random person in the future finds out.
Okay.
All they have to do is say that he touched them, and your past charges are going to prove. They don't give a damn what you're going to say. You can have camera footage, and your past charges is going to prove that you done it no matter what.
Right.
And I'm not, like I said, I wasn't there.
Right.
I can't tell you whether he did it or he didn't do it, or what happened and what didn't happen. I can only lean on who that individual and who that man is today, and the way he is today. That man's got kids of his own. You know what I'm saying? He's been to my house. He's been to other people's house. He's took care of other people's kids. The certain individual that was on here, doing all their, mouthing about it, he's took care of his kid, all that stuff. So it just, and this was after the fact. He had already knew all the stuff. So, it just, that was the problem that I had with that individual. Was,
now what do
you're
you
not
say
going
to
to say,
I understand what you're saying, but what do you say to the wrestlers and the people in the wrestling business that flat out do not want anything to do with him? They don't want him near wrestling shows. They don't want him near their kids. They don't want. What do you say to those people?
well, to be honest, that's your prerogative. And I'm not saying that you're right in what you're saying or you're wrong. You're being protective of what's yours. I get that. You know what I'm saying? And if I felt in any way, shape, or form that he was, because you can tell those kind. I'm sorry, but you can tell those kind of people. I mean, and it's not every single time, but 9 times out of 10, if you got those, 3 charges, it looks repetitive. You could tell the kind of individuals that would do that. And he, like I said, he ain't never put off in any way, shape, or form that's who he is. He's had and I'll put this out there just because I'm pretty sure he won't care. He's been actually talked to by the state on several different occasions and evaluated on several different times. The state has let him pretty much loose as far as that goes. They don't think he's a threat to anyone or any child or any of that. If they thought that was
So
a situation,
is that why he's wrestling right now? Is that the reason he's wrestling? Is he's went and talked to the state and answered all their questions, and because if
but
you have a sex, if you are on the sex registry, you're not supposed to be near schools or anywhere where children congregate at all.
yeah, yeah. Like like I said, regardless of what happened or what he did or whatever, he can't go towards because of the statue or because of the state of the fences or whatever. He can't
Hmm.
go towards like playgrounds and towards schools, like stuff like getting his kids enrolled in school. He can't even do that shit, stuff like
Right.
that. And that was actually where the second charge originated from. Was he was going to get his kids enrolled in school, and the police officer picked him up there. So it
Okay.
just, like I said, a lot of circumstances happened that wasn't in his favor, and
Now,
I'm not
now
getting
I
anybody
now
who's
I do
against
have
him.
right now I do have a question. Would STD be willing to come out and talk about this on Facebook Live with me or something like that? Would do you think you could
Well,
think he'd be willing to do that? Because
well,
I'm
he
telling
can't
you,
have a
it.
Facebook,
Oh,
so
he can't have a Facebook. That's right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just it's
So
hard. It's hard to as a parent, and I'm a parent. I've got an 11-year-old daughter. It's hard as a parent
yeah,
to see three convictions, whether it was two separate times, one time, whatever. It's hard for me as a parent. I'm just telling you from my I don't know the guy. Okay, I'm just going
yeah,
by what's being told. What I'm being told. I've seen him wrestle, but that doesn't really tell
yeah,
me, like you said, who he is. And
yeah,
I'd have to be concerned if I saw him on a wrestling poster, or if somebody said, "Hey, he's going to be at the show." And until I get to know the guy, I would have to be concerned, and I would have to keep my kids away. I mean, I that's just being protective. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So I can
yeah,
understand
yeah.
both
That's what
sides
I'm
of the
saying. I get
story,
that.
but I can understand both sides of the story, but it's going to be hard for him to, without coming on something like this or going to everywhere. He's going to be defending himself the rest of his life, and
Oh yeah, and see the
it's
thing about coming on something like this, and this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing towards your show or anything like that.
no,
But
no,
what do
no.
you think's gonna happen if he comes on something like this? People are just gonna all they're gonna do is bash and talk trash. Ain't nobody gonna open their ears and listen. Ain't nobody. Don't nobody really care about that. They only care about
Right,
their opinion,
right,
and that's the kind of person I am. And
right,
that's the only reason. Not no disrespect towards anybody, but I
right,
don't form an opinion on a person until I
right,
know them.
right.
And that's a lot of people
Well,
don't
that
do
would
that.
that would
So
be me, but in this day and age, brother, you have to, like you said, I would respect the parents who, if
yeah,
he's on a poster or something, I'd go to the show. I would go to the show, but I wouldn't bring my child to the show. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, I
it's
understand.
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nothing
Then I
against
don't I
him,
don't put nothing
but
towards any parent.
right. So, but
You
let's
know.
let's let's move on. Let's get back into wrestling. I had to touch on that because there was a lot of people, and I'm not going to lie to anybody. This is hashtag truth. There was a lot of people who said they would absolutely not watch this show because you said because you defended him basically.
That's
And
okay.
the reason my show is called hashtag truth is for reasons like this. There
Mhm.
are good and bad things in wrestling. So let's get them out in the open. Let's talk about them. Let's get this junk over with, and let's go back to what we all want to do, and that's promote indies wrestling and get you guys all up in WWE and get your $1 million contracts. Right
Right, right.
there, you go. Let's go back and see what people are saying, man.
All right.
Jamie Knight, what's up, brother?
What's going on, buddy?
Shay Shay heard enough. He said, "Oh Lord, bye to this." That's okay. That's fine. Rhonda says, "I don't understand. If he can't go to schools, how can he go to events where kids are?" Yeah, that was my question. I don't understand that either. But apparently, he's got some kind of he's talked to the state, and personally, the parents need to know
Wrestling
who's
events aren't
wrestling at
centered.
each show.
Let me say this. The state only says you can't go to an event that is specified for kids. Wrestling
Okay.
events aren't specified for children. They are family friendly, but they're not specified for children. So
Okay.
you know,
So it's a technicality, basically.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Jamie Knight. All right, back to wrestling. What do you think about wrestling skill? I don't understand exactly what his question is, but what about wrestling skill, Jamie Knight? What part of it? It's kind of an
Yeah,
open question.
yeah. I don't know how to answer it because I don't really know what the real question is.
I'll ask something along the lines with when it comes to wrestling skill. How long do you think a young wrestler should train before they actually get in the ring and start performing moves?
Okay. Well, I at least I mean I'm not saying that they have to do it this amount of time, but be in that ring on a constant basis for at least a year, maybe two. Training. And this is before, because like I said, I was in there pretty much a solid year before I ever had, I was up under that light in that square circle, and I wasn't even a worker then.
Okay.
So it just comes to, as skill goes, skill comes from training. You
Jamie
learn
Lee clarified
everything.
it. He said, "What do you think about his wrestling skills?" What he meant.
Your wrestling skills,
What do you think about my
okay.
wrestling skills? See, I read it wrong. I'm
Oh,
I got to get a thicker
okay.
pair of glasses.
You no disrespect towards you, buddy, but you have a lot to learn. You have a lot. You something I learned in the ring a long time ago. If you open your ears, like my grandpa told me a long time ago, you use your ears. You got two of them, twice as many as you do as a mouth. Then you'll learn twice as much.
Right.
So it you gotta be able to listen first, and that's I think that's one of your hardest things doing is you, not only will you need to be able to guide yourself, but right now, as of the last time I seen you, you need to be guided, and you
Right.
need to be so more training
All
and
wrestlers,
listening.
and this ain't a faux pas on just Jamie Knight. This is for all the young wrestlers, and I'm saying this as a fan. I'm not a wrestler, never been a wrestler, never been into business, but as a fan, I've learned one thing from talking to all these wrestlers. Number one, you never stop learning. Number
No,
two,
you never
when you
ever.
get in the wrestling business, get under somebody who knows the wrestling business. I'm not talking about just how to wrestle and how to speak, but knows the business itself because they're going to teach
Yeah.
you valuable things that are going to get you a long way. There's things you got to do. A lot of the little things add up to big things. So if you didn't have that one person who really wants to show you, hey, this is the way you do this. If this situation comes up, this is the way you handle it, and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
If you go through wrestling for 4 or 5 years before somebody good actually comes and shows you the way,
Hmm.
they have to reverse. They have to take all that bad stuff out of you and then reteach you all over again. So you're
Yeah.
basically starting over as a wrestler.
That's true.
At least that's my opinion. I mean, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. How do you think mining your match would go? Mining your match would go if we had one. How do you think a match would go if you and him had one?
Uh, it depends on how much your trainer's teaching you right now. Because I
I
heard
know. I
you
know.
was
Jamie
training.
Knight's got some guys. He's got some guys that are backing him up. He's got one
Yeah.
guy that's out there trying to get him, trained, trying to get and Jamie, I've given him some, pointers as a fan what I'd like to see him do with his character and stuff like that. And I
Hmm.
wish Jamie Knight all the best in the world, man. I want to see all you guys succeed. That's basically why I have you on my show for the fans to get used to you, so they get to know you. They come to your shows, they buy your merch, things. That's what I want to see, and that's what hashtag truth is all about. And I named it hashtag truth because I want to get to the truth behind wrestling. I don't want to open up the fourth. I don't want to break down the fourth wall or open up and get way back behind the curtain unless the
Yeah.
wrestler does. But I just want people to come on here and be truthful. And
Mhm.
one thing about that, Jax, is I'm very thankful that you came on here and was honest about the situation we talked about. I
Oh yeah.
appreciate you coming on, man, because
No problem,
I
brother.
did get a hold of you and say, hey, man, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be negative on here. Are you sure you want to do this? And you were
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. You know, so I give you
Yeah.
props to that. Anybody else got
Appreciate
any
that.
questions for Jaxon Bones? We have been an hour and almost an hour and 15 minutes into this, man. Jaxon, I really appreciate that. While you guys are thinking of some
Oh,
more
no problem, brother.
questions, I'm going to throw some posters up here of some shows that are going to come up here. So we're going to be right back with Jaxon Bones. Here are some of the shows that are going to be coming up. We got EWF Go for the Gold, July 27th, 2019 at the Forest City National Guard Armory. There's going to be a mystery talent at that show. You guys don't want to miss that. Ace Wrestling is going to have the one coming up in Rayford, North Carolina. I can speak, really, I can. My tongue's getting all tied. August the 16th. You don't want to miss that show. It's going to be a great, great show. AWC has Honor Among Us coming up August the 10th. You don't want to miss that show. And also, Livewire Wrestling has the Star Spangled Showdown coming up July the 13th. You don't want to miss that. So, a lot of great wrestling shows in your area. Go out, support Indies Wrestling. If you got any more questions, let's look and see. Jamie Knight wants to know where you're wrestling at now.
Well, like I said, I'm working on getting on there at EWF, because it's in Forest City, it's right up close, and they've got a lot of good talent. So
would you be willing to fight an unbookable?
From
if
things
so,
I hear
which
about
one?
the unbookables.
If so, which one? Which one? If you were going to call out an unbookable, which one would you call out?
I think I'm gonna follow behind Brandon and do all of it.
Do all of them.
Yeah, one at a time. Just like Brandon's working his way through them, I'll work my way through them.
I'll ask you the way the owner would ask you. Who's your favorite unbookable and why is it their leader, Boomer Payne?
I was fixing to say, I was like, probably Boomer, just because he created something that not just created something. He manufactured, I guess you would say, one of the most dominant, factions.
One of the most dominant factions in indie wrestling today, brother. That's it.
Yeah.
The only problem is they're not smart enough to hold gold. It's all good, though. Me and the Unbookables don't get along, man. Me and the Unbookables have had a war since I began. There you go. Rhonda came in a little late, I think. She wants to know who was your inspiration in getting started in wrestling. I think this is the third time you said it, but hit us up again. Who was your inspiration? Who got you started in wrestling?
Brian Thrill first. He was my line into wrestling, but my WWE would probably definitely be Stone Cold, and
give us a good give us a 30-second promo doing Stone Cold. Give us a Stone Cold impression.
Doing a Stone Cold?
Yeah, give us a Jaxon Bone Stone Cold impression.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come to your house. I'll sit on your couch. I'll take your beer, smack you with your beer, drink your beer, ask your woman what 50 times, and then whoop your ass. How about all that? How do you feel about me coming in your house and whipping your ass?
Spot on, man. I love it. There you go. Right out from Jaxon. I'm not even going to ask you to do a self promo. That was awesome. That was totally awesome. The voice and everything, brother. That was totally cool.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys. Last call for questions or comments for Jaxon Bones, and we're going to let him get out of here and get ready for his next show. Tell us where you're going to be at in the near future while they're getting their last questions ready.
Well, like I said, it's kind of open right now.
It's all open. Hey,
like I said, UIW.
That's not a bad thing. That just means a bunch of people that watch this show can call you up and get you booked, man.
Yeah. Like I said, UIW is trying to find its own little building. That's where I called home, and EWF is definitely. EWF is definitely a target. So
how can bookers and promoters get a hold of you, man? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a website? Self-promote yourself, man.
Yeah, you can look me up on Jaxon Bones on Facebook. Anytime you want to see, my work, things I do, look up Jaxon Bones on YouTube. And if it comes down to it, you can look up my shoot name, and if you look up Jaxon Bones, then I'll tell you my shoot name. We can talk on there. Either way, you can get in contact with me.
Now, you do realize that we're going to put you up to the same promo test, right? Just saying before I say this.
The same.
We're gonna do. She wants you to do a promo on why you should be booked for EWF. But I'm
Well,
just
I should be
letting.
booked for EW.
Yeah, I'm just letting her know that when she comes on, she's gonna get the same treatment now. So get your
Mm-hmm.
promo skills all dusted up.
Oh,
Do
I'm
a
ready.
self promo on
Yeah.
why you should be booked for EWF and why you want to kick Brandon Owens' butt.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it definitely, the big Jackson Bones. He comes through and he creates havoc everywhere he goes. If he hits you with one fist, he's definitely gonna hit you with the other one. So it's time to go to sleep. I can throw you in the air. I can throw you across the room. Either way it goes, I'm gonna get the job done. And Brandon Owens, what you don't understand is you might have this ego, but I could throw you and your ego across that room. 1, 2, 3 are three numbers you're gonna see when it comes to me and you in that ring. Understand that. Just a little something.
All right. I want to go see it. Here's my money. It's all good, man. Well, Jaxon Bones, man, you come back to hashtag truth anytime, brother. You have an open invite. Tell all your wrestling
I
buddies
appreciate
about
that.
my show, man. Have them come on. I would love
Oh
to
yeah.
have them on here. And
All right.
man, it's
I'm
been a
coming.
pleasure. Thank you for answering all the questions. Thank you for being kind to all the hashtag truth listeners out there. I want to thank everybody for watching the
Oh yeah.
show. And I am booked solid all the way through to Saturday. So every night, 7 o'clock this week, everybody stay tuned for hashtag truth. Also, go to the
Oh yeah.
hashtag truth. I'm going to say this till I get my 1,000, folks. If you want me to shut up, you're going to have to shut me up. Go to my YouTube page, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. It'll tell you every time one of these interviews go up. This interview will be on my Facebook page till tomorrow, probably around noon, and then it's going to get taken down and thrown over to my YouTube page. So if you want to go back, Jaxon Bones, and tell all your friends about this interview, you can find it on my YouTube page, brother.
Yes,
We're
sir.
going to call it a night. Thank you very
All
much,
right.
Jaxon. We'll see
Thank you,
y'all
sir.
tomorrow.